Today I have more information for you regarding the Hearthstone Diablo Immortal update, and just inside of the game today, we have had Clash of Cards drop, which is a timeline leading us up to July 30th, which is the launch of this Hearthstone Diablo Immortal crossover. As you can see, on the 24th of July, which is tomorrow, we'll get ourselves 3 rare crests. On the 26th of July, we'll get ourselves 1 Telluric Pearl, and on the 30th, the day of the event, a legendary crest. Not only that, we're also getting ourselves bonus Battle Pass experience. Bonus XP will be given for Battle Pass rank ups, and of course, there is the limit to the amount that you can get per month with all of that. So it all has begun inside of the game itself, and the countdown has begun. But now I want to dive into the patch notes that dropped in China that gave us a lot more context and insight into this event than we saw from the North American patch notes. Now, please keep in mind, this is from China, it's translated from Chinese, and there's no 100% guarantee that everything will be verbatim what we see right here. There are some things that are the same, and there are others that are different, like this portal that we should be getting. It doesn't say whether we'll be getting it for free or not. My hope, my assumption, my hope is that it's a free portal for everyone. Also, some avatars will be available to players that engage in the event as well, which is really cool. You can have different characters that you know from Hearthstone that you'll then be able to use the avatar of. Also, they talk about these cards. Now, I have all of the, we'll call them affixes for these cards that I'm going to be sharing with you inside of this video as well. Essentially, there are, I believe, 18 of them, and they give you different buffs in different areas of the game. And as long as you're a level 10, you're going to get something in the mail with one of these cards just from playing during the event. So you'll have one of the 18. And as you can see right here, there are a bunch of these different cards, all that are going to give you different attributes or affixes for some of your battles. And yes, there are 18 of these that in the form of effects, turning them into forces that adventurers can use. So basically, you're able to use the effects of these cards in your battles. Through the task, the adventurer can obtain the Shadow Hearthstone pack, open it to get random cards, and unlock the corresponding entry effect. However, when crossing the face to the shelter, some cards were distorted and corrupted by the fiery hell, and adventurers may find that they're different from the original appearance in Hearthstone, but the powerful power contained in them has not changed. Collect these cards and master the new abilities. Now, I do have all these abilities for you. I'll get to those abilities in just a moment because I want to show you where you can kind of use some of these. And as you can see, we're looking at the Fractured Plane right now. Spoke about this yesterday quite a bit in that video and on my live stream yesterday, but you're going to be able to use some of these abilities and have them as choices. As you can see, the card choices here from the cards that you collect from that pack of 18. As you can see, as you go through different stages of Fractured Plane, more choices will become available, some at the very beginning of your matches. Now here's a little bit of a closer look at what these cards look like. Definitely Hearthstone cards. You can see the Hearthstone original cards on the table behind, and then you can see how they've been Diablo Immortalified to kind of take that Hearthstone logo. They're flipping it around in another direction, adding the red to it, making it a true Diablo experience. So I think, at least for the cosmetics and what they look like, they look pretty cool. Now let's talk about the affixes. Now, as I mentioned, there are 18 of these, and I don't want to go through every single one of them because that could get a little extensive. Who knows, maybe I will. But I'll go through a few of them right here, and I'll be sure to show all of them inside of this video, and you could read through them if you want to know what they look like. These have all been translated over from Chinese because this was only shared in a Chinese version. But these are all 18 of the modifier affixes that you'll be getting from the cards that you'll be collecting. The first one being Transfiguration. When dealing damage, there is a chance to activate Transfiguration, transforming the target and surrounding enemies into yaks, increasing the damage they receive during this period. So, you can already tell that these are kind of fun elements that are adding to the game. We're going to be able to turn things into yaks, and they're going to take more damage from our attacks from Transfiguration. Let's read another one. Ice Barrier. When receiving a critical hit, it'll cause damage to surrounding enemies and impose a freezing effect that lasts for a few seconds. At the same time, you'll be immune to damage for a short period of time and recover your health. Then we have Furious Attack. When you cause damage to yourself, you'll trigger an additional rage attack at the target location, causing area damage. At the same time, you'll gain a shield that can resist damage and last for a few seconds. Alright, so not all of them are just goofy things where you turn other players into yaks, or I should say enemies into yaks. There are some things that actually could be quite useful, and after reading through and checking out a bunch of these, because as I mentioned there are a ton of them, I realized that a lot of these act like a legendary gem would act. Now, when we're in Fractured Plane, you're going to be able to choose some of the cards that you're going to be able to utilize as you built out your character for Fractured Plane. When you're doing Trial of the Horde, because these are also going to be active in Trial of the Horde as well, they're going to drop as experience globes instead of the cards. So these affixes, I believe, are going to be dropping as different experience globes throughout the, or I should say modifier globes throughout your battle, so that you'll then be able to do these different abilities, affix abilities during those matches. So from what I understand, we're only going to be able to utilize these cards and these affixes during the special events that I just mentioned. Now, just to go through a couple more with you guys, and I am jumping around. Viper Trap, when you're damaged, you summon 3 poisonous snakes to spit venom at nearby enemies, causing poison if hit, and taking damage every second. When triggered, you'll also be immune to damage for a short time. Let's scroll a little bit further so you guys can definitely get a look at all of them, and I'll read one while you guys pause and look at the rest if you want to. How about Lightning Storm? When using skills, there's a chance to trigger a lightning storm, causing damage to surrounding enemies. After the trigger, the player will fall into an overload state, reducing the cooldown recovery speed of all the skills for a few seconds. So honestly, these do sound like some powerful type attributes that really do sound like legendary gems. And Backstab, when damaging an uninjured target, additional amp damage is dealt. Those are all of the affixes. Of course, I only read a small handful for sparing all of you, but you can at any point in time scroll through, pause, and look through all of them. I'll scroll up one more time for you guys to get a good look at everything so you can see what all those affixes are. Now again, these are only going to be available in those special activities that we have going on. So it's not like these are going to be something that you could utilize long term inside of the game, the same way that you would invest in and use a legendary gem. Now, with all of this said, I did mention that my live stream was on yesterday where I discussed a bunch of these topics. I will not be going live today. I have some things that I need to take care of around the house and with family, but tomorrow I will be live again. We'll be looking more into any information that we get regarding the update and just playing through with the community. We've been doing our Hellslayer bounties together, we've been running our dungeons together, we've been doing Helliquary bosses together, and of course participating in any events altogether that the game has to offer. If you guys enjoyed the video or found it valuable, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on my next video or any of my live streams. And yes, Soma is famous now. I am here to confirm that on July 30th, Hearthstone is making its way into Diablo Immortal with different game modes, or at least modifications to game modes, with new cosmetics, and even with some new pet cosmetics that I think are really cool. I have all the details and even some video on all of this throughout today's video. So let's dive into this, and as I said, this is going to start on July 30th, just 8 days from the time that you're probably watching this video. I'm looking at some early patch notes here to get this information out to you as quickly as possible. Gather round for Heroes of the Hearth. Now, Hearthstone is a card-playing game by Blizzard. It's on PC, mobile, it's basically everywhere, and it's been around for a while. It has quite a big following. Now, this is going to be going on from July 30th through August 27th, so almost a full month of events. We're going to have 2 game modes that are modified for Hearthstone. I'm talking about Trial of the Hordes, which is nice because it's a quick game mode we could dive in and out of, and Fractured Plane, which is also nice because it's one where you can test out different classes, different skills that you maybe don't already use. The Heroes of the Hearth event hub is your place to check on your progress towards earning potent cards and resplendent rewards. Acquire powerful cards to bolster your greatness. All cards can be earned through the Heroes of the Hearth event hub and are all either common or rare rarities. If you decide to purchase one of the Hearthstone themed bundles from the in-game shop, you'll also get a free card bonus. This very much sounds like the events that are inside the game now, where if you buy one legendary crest, you get additional rewards or rewards more quickly. Each card you earn grants special affixes that can be applied across various game modes, augmenting your power. Collect and wield these 18 classic Hearthstone cards in Enchanted Plains and Trial of the Horde game modes. The following unlockable cards are, or the following cards available are Mage, Polymorph and Ice Block, Warrior, which is the Barbarian, Bash and Blade Storm, Hunter, Explosive Trap and Snake Trap, Priest, Holy Nova and Shadow Swarm, Warlock, as you can see these are all changed a little bit, Flame Imp and Defile, Shaman, Wind Fury and Lightning Storm, Paladin, Blessing of Wisdom and Lay on Hands, Druid, Swipe and Ancient Lore, and the Rogue, Backstab and Penetration. Here's a closer look at two of these powerful cards that you can earn. Polymorph, common, you have a chance to transform nearby enemies into yaks. Polymorph enemies take increased damage. This is cool. It's like just really quick things that are going to change up how gameplay works. Defile, which is a rare, you have a chance to mark enemies with Defile. Marked enemies are damaged, and if they don't die while marked, spread Defile to other unmarked enemies. Preparation, which is a rare, you have a chance to shorten the cooldowns of all your skills for a short period of time. I like those. All right, so it's going to be a fun twist that we have here. Slay in the Trial of the Hearth. Okay, so this is Trial of the Hordes and how it's going to change. You've experienced, but this is something that you've never seen before. Prior to playing, you'll be able to choose two cards. One card will be an active buff that takes effect from the start of the match, and the second card will become a combat orb that will drop with priority during the match. So if I'm looking at this right here, if you can't, you zoom in if you can. If you can't, I will tell you what it says. You have two cards to select from. One is your starting buff, and then one is your gameplay drops. You could remove cards, you could switch them around. So it's basically modifications to how Trial of the Hordes is going to run. So essentially, the orbs that drop during Trial of the Hordes, you know, they'll give you speed, they'll give you power, they'll give you with increased attack. This is going to be one that you choose to get an increased chance of those dropping. I like that. But keep your wits about you, adventurer, for other combat orbs with random card effects can emerge to sow great chaos. Use these to your unexpected advantage to claim victory. So essentially what's the changes that I'm seeing that we're having coming to Trial of the Hordes is orb drops. The cards give us different powers. Those powers are going to drop in the form of orbs, the way we normally pick up orbs in Trial of the Horde, and it's going to modify how gameplay looks. It sounds cool, pretty simple right there. Survive the Enchanted Plains. So now we're talking about Fractured Plains. The fractured plane may be a reflection of your mind, but now reflects another thing entirely. Using the previous version of Fractured Plane prior to the Writhing Wilds update, you'll select 3 cards to aid your fight within the Vicious Gauntlet. 1 card will be activated from the start of the match, while the other 2 drop from Chaotic Altars and Treasure Chests while playing. Build your deck and fight back into the Burning Hell's legions to emerge triumphant in the Enchanted Plains. All right, so again, they're utilizing the whole card mechanic from Hearthstone to give us different powers that are going to modify how we attack. I actually like how they did this graphic. You have the wizard, but there's a lot of these Hearthstone cards flying out from the wizard. Yeah, the wizard, one of my new favorite classes. Wield the Manaflux Legendary Gem, another new legendary gem. The question is this going to be another S tier that's going to be a must-use? Well, let's find out. Deep within the magical archives of the Herodrum lies a wondrous artifact known as the Manaflux Legendary Gem. Legend speaks of how its radiant glow pulsing with raw power beneath the crystalline surface. When a player claims this gem, mysterious energies stir, granting them an extra surge of mana in their hands. The below description will be updated before release, so this could be changed. Keep in mind, the patch notes that we're reading right at this second are earlier than the blog post has come out. Generate mana over time, allowing you to spend it all when you use a skill. While above a portion of your maximum life, spending your mana will call forth Ragnaros to hurl a fireball at nearby enemies, while below portion of your maximum life, you call Acidic Swamp Ooze to spew acid at nearby enemies. Additionally, Ragnaros' fireball will now burn enemies, and the acidic swamp ooze acid spew will silence enemies, preventing them from using their skills. So this is a gem that's going to allow you to lock out other players' use of skills, and it's going to also give you the ability to drop a fireball that can add continuous burn. That's actually pretty crazy. Now, I also did mention to you that we have the new familiar cosmetics, and some of you guys may know Core Ranger and Lil Ragnaros. These are skins, cosmetics that you can get on your current pets, which I actually like because I don't want to see new pets come. This gives you a bonus when playing Trials of the Hearth and Enchanted Plane, delivering epic boons to aid you against monsters of all kinds. Now, I'm really wondering if these are going to also give us these benefits outside of these events, or if it's going to be only very specific to the events that are going on during this Hearthstone crossover. But this is a really cool one as well. I think here's another example for you. I think Blizzard has done a really great job making these cosmetics for the pets. I mean, we had the Little Butcher, which I thought was really awesome as well. This is coming through as a nice solid one also, which I will most likely represent. Now, in the past, you had to, I think one was given for free and you had to purchase the enhanced version. They're not saying how that's going to go right here, but I wouldn't 100% assume that it's all going to be free. Now, we also do have a new Gleam Moon Scion Phantom Market. Remember, the Phantom Market are the approximately $170 cosmetic draws. You can have a very, very, very small chance of pulling it on your first draw, but very unlikely. These cosmetics are going to be available. I also have I have a look right here of what these actually look like in play. This is on the Barbarian. Honestly, this is one of the first cosmetics that has this color pattern. I think we had one other cosmetic that was purple themed in the past, but I think this one looks really cool. It also, when you take a look at the weapons themselves, they do have that look and that feel of the druid, but it also, of course, has that Hearthstone look and feel. Here's another version of the video file that I was given to take a peek at this right here. You can see that Barbarian running around looking pretty awesome. We'll give you the full screen view of that one. Let me know down below if you are planning on getting yourself the cosmetics through the Phantom Market. I will most likely have that on my account so I can share with you the draw and what that actually looks like. That is the update as a whole. Game modifications, cosmetics coming for our main characters and for the pets that we're going to be utilizing. And, well, another great crossover that's offering a gem, the Manaflux, that potentially can lock out your opponent's skills in full with that acidic ooze. We're going to see if this one is going to be worthy of utilizing and attaining. Looking forward to seeing you guys inside of the game. I will be live today at 11 or 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We could talk more about this update and more during the stream. Hope you guys have a great day, and I hope to see you in the stream. One of the most frequently asked questions I get from all of you is, what gems are the best gems that I should use in Diablo Immortal? Which are the ones that I should invest my time into upgrading, especially if you're a free-to-play player or a low spender and you really can't invest a ton into 5-star gems. So today I want to take a look at every single one of the 5-star gems that are available right now inside of the game and throw them on a tier list for you so you guys can see where you should prioritize them, and if you happen to have one drop in an Elder Rift, if it's one that you should save or sell to get a bunch of platinum from. We're going to start with the oldest and move all the way to the newest, and keep in mind, some of these gems do have power creep. Now, before I go any further, I want to remind you guys that I'm going live every single day on the channel. I'll be live today around 11 or 12 Eastern Time, so 11 a.m. or 12 p.m. Eastern Time. Hopefully you guys can come on through and hang out with me on the stream. Let's start out with the Phoenix Ashes. The Phoenix Ashes was the unkillable gem in the beginning of the game. It's the one that saves your life when you're doing any type of combat. As you can see, prevents fatal damage and then grants a shield for 6 seconds that absorbs damage equal to 450% of your base damage. Cannot occur more often than once every 180 seconds. Now, also, please keep in mind, these are the stats at rank 1. These rank all the way up to rank 10, but also keep in mind that if you are a free-to-play player or even a low spender, you will never get these gems to rank 10. It's nearly impossible to do that. So, just keep that in mind. This gem, though, and I'm going to kind of look at it as I could, all of them in general, I'm going to say, okay, you can probably get them up to rank 4 or rank 5, even as a low spender, and that's kind of where I'll judge them, right? Because honestly, no gems are really great at rank 1. You're going to want to throw a few ranks into them. So, the Phoenix Ashes, which is one that I loved when the game had begun, really doesn't, it had some major power creep and it really doesn't do great specifically in Battlegrounds anymore. I'm going to drop that one into the C tier. Let's move on next to the Chip of Stoned Flesh. There are some builds that do utilize this. I've seen it used in the Crusader sometimes, but it's definitely a bit of a niche gem. When you cause an enemy your total loss of control, you inflict an explosive curse upon them. When the curse expires, the enemy will explode for 45% of all damage taken during its duration, up to a maximum of 150% of your base damage. Can't happen more often than every 20 seconds. This is something that's used in some really big damage builds, and it's one that you may want to use for niche moments. Not a bad gem, not the best. The Chip, I'm going to go and give a B tier. Let's move on to Howler's Call. This is the one that has wolves shoot out from you and they go damage enemies in front of you. Your primary attack has a 10% chance to conjure a charging spirit wolf that inflicts 150% base damage and 1,458 damage to all enemies in its path. I used to like this one because it would throw some wolves out. It was kind of cool. It was a cool visual that you would get from it. But at the end of the day, Howler's Call is not one of the best gems. I am going to, wait a second, where is this thing on my list right here? All right, that's what it looks like. Yeah, where is it? Oh, here it is. I'm going to go ahead and give this one, I mean, it's probably one of the worst gems. It can go C or D. It's not one that you should focus on. Now, some players will say they're so cheap because no one really wants them, right? Like, they're not expensive to, actually, they are expensive to pick up right here. Wow, that's actually surprising. But when you have a gem that's inexpensive, is it worth upgrading one that's easier to attain because it costs less platinum, but it doesn't do as much, just so you can gain resonance? The answer there is probably not. You're going to want to go with the gems that are going to give you the benefits that you want. Let's talk about Seeping Bile. This is one that I still actually currently use, although it has had massive power creep. Your attacks have a 4% chance to poison enemies, inflicting 25% base damage, plus 263 every second for 6 seconds. The poison then spreads to nearby enemies if the victim dies. So, I like the effect of it, but the problem is it only happens 4% chance. Your attacks only have a 4% chance to poison those enemies. This is probably one of the most power crept gems inside of the game. With that being said, it's still one that I use. I'm going to go ahead and give the Seeping Bile, we are going to go and give it a B tier. It's not completely dead as of yet. Blessing of the Worthy. This was one of the first gems that you could have purchased from the shop when the game dropped. I still remember the purchasable deals that were in the game when the game launched. When you take damage, you have a 20% chance to unleash Retribution on all nearby enemies, dealing damage equal to 12% of your current life. Alright, so you basically do damage when you take damage. I don't particularly love Blessing of the Worthy. I'm going to go ahead and give this one a D tier. Definitely one that we used to see being used a lot, but really isn't being used much anymore. Blood-Soaked Jade increases all damage you deal up to 8%. All damage, that's primary attack and skill damage, while at full life, with a minimum bonus of 4% while at low life. It also increases your movement speed by 10%. Again, this is at rank 1. Also, Blood-Soaked Jade is one of the best gems in the game, easily my favorite, and easily an S tier gem. If you ever unlock this, it's one that you should prioritize, it's one that you should use, and it's one that you should try to upgrade. It is good with all builds everywhere. Echoing Shade, although I should love this one because of its name, it is okay. Kind of like the Howler's Call. Your attacks have a 15% chance to summon a shadow clone for 8 seconds that attacks nearby enemies with one of your primary attacks. Now, we know that the Barbarian has a skill that can have a shadow clone come, Echoing Shade that can allow another one that can come. I guess it can allow you to drop more damage if you're looking for some big damage builds. I do see this gem being utilized sometimes in builds where they're trying to drop tons of damage on, say, a Heliquary boss or a dungeon boss. That being said, it's also not the best gem in the game. I'm going to give the Echoing Shade a C tier along with our Phoenix Ashes. If you're noticing when you look at the list, a lot of the older gems are in the lower tiers, and that just tells you how good some of the newer ones are that we're going to be getting to. Bottled Hope, another OG gem. When you use a skill to grant a buff, it increases damage and movement speeds of the target by yourself by 8% for 6 seconds. Can occur more often. It also decreases cooldown of skills. Bottled Hope, although it does not sound like anything super crazy, it is an amazing gem. It's one that I use in all of my builds. This one could go between an S and an A tier. Because of me and how I like to use it, I want to drop it in S. I know that some others would argue that it's really not an S tier gem, that it's more of an A tier gem compared to some of the others that we have. I would probably agree with that. So I'm going to go ahead and give it an A tier, although I think it really should be like right in between. It could be an S or an A tier gem. I really do like the Bottled Hope. All right, we're going to talk about some Zwenson's Haunting, the gem I want to love. When you defeat an enemy, a dark beast attacks nearby enemies, dealing 50% of the base damage plus 486. Basically, you kill things and then you summon this thing, this shadow beast that attacks and does more damage. It's really not the best gem, unfortunately. It's gotta go sit in the D tier. Although I wish it could be better. I think it's cool. It's just not the best. Frozen Heart, we see this one used quite a bit in PvP. When you take damage, activate a Frigid Shield for 6 seconds that chills enemy attackers and absorbs damage equal to 150% of your base damage, plus 1,458. So this is really nice for PvP. It's a great shielding gem. I actually quite like it, although it's not one that I use. I'll go ahead and give this one, for someone that's a PvP player, this is going to be an A tier gem. If you do not do PvP, if you only do open world stuff, this should be somewhere more around a C tier. All right. So keeping in mind that maybe you play all areas of the game, we'll give that one an A tier. Back to the game, we're going to take a look at Concentrated Will. Using a dash skill, calls a guardian angel to your aid, unleashing a blast of holy light in your direction, dealing 55% damage and 547 to all enemies. This can happen every 6 seconds. Now, this one is very reliant on the build that you're using and the class that you're playing. If you're utilizing a monk, a tempest, something that dashes a lot, this could be a very valuable gem. But if you're not utilizing dash skills, it's one that you're probably not going to be using at all, and it wouldn't be valuable to you. Either way, I'm going to drop this one into the C tier category. You can bump it up if you are playing as something that has a dash skill that is very heavy in the way that you play. But I also like to use gems that are versatile. I like to use gems that if I change classes to something different, it still is going to have its value. So keep that in mind. Next up, we're going to go with the Hellfire Fragment. Using a skill, conjures 3 Hellfire blades around you that seek out enemies within 6 yards, exploding on them, dealing 45% damage and 510 to all enemies. Again, 20-second cooldown. Basically, this gives you a ring of orbs that surround you and go hit enemies. It's an okay gem. It's an okay gem at best. I'm going to go ahead and give this one, we're going to go give it it's going to probably be a D tier. I really don't think it's one of the best in the game right now. Gloom Cask. Your primary attack unleashes an aspect of gloom for 6 seconds, during which your primary attacks will trigger gloom blades that deal 30% base damage plus 275. This is from your primary attack. So when you're utilizing your primary, and less skills, more primary, I actually quite like this gem. I wouldn't go ahead and call it an S tier, but I would go ahead and call it an A or a B. I could we'll go ahead and give it an A tier. Some people will argue that it should be a B, but I think it is still better than a Seeping Bile, so I'm going to go ahead and drop it in the A tier category. Starfire Shard. When you deal damage, you have a 30% chance to rain meteorites in an area that knock back enemies, dealing 200% base damage, plus 2,000 in total. Now this is great because of the knockback if you're a PvP player. Starfire Shard you will still see in PvP builds. It's still not one of the best, but I will also give it an A tier. Next up, we are going to take a look at Spiteful Blood. This is the gem that came out with the Blood Knight. Taking damage while below 50% life causes Spiteful Blood to surge through you for 4 seconds, increasing damage done by 4% and making you invulnerable to primary attacks from other players. From primary attacks, keep that in mind. And again, that's at rank 1, that would be ranked up. Spiteful Blood we used to think was going to be a beast of a gem, but as of right now, I still think it's just a B tier. And that's where I'm going to have it sit. Void Spark. This one is great if you're doing PvE related items. It probably does a little bit less for PvP, although now I'm playing as the wizard and I actually quite like the Void Spark gem in PvP as well. Dealing damage conjures a Void Spark for 6 seconds. While the Void Spark is active, dealing damage has a 30% chance to unleash lightning that chains up to 8 enemies, dealing 45% base damage plus 446 to each enemy. Lightning strikes can only trigger once every 1 second. So now you can only conjure the Void Spark once every 20 seconds. I quite like the Void Spark, honestly. I'm going to go ahead and give it an A tier, although I know that people will probably argue that it should be lower. I like Void Spark personally. That's where I'm putting it. Maw of the Deep is another one in that similar boat. Dealing damage conjures a whirlpool at an enemy's location that pulls nearby enemies into the center, and after 2 seconds, a massive sea monster jumps and erupts from the whirlpool, dealing 140% damage, plus 1,700 to all enemies that are nearby, and knocking them up in the air. Now, this is one that you need to rank up. You got to get this one to a rank 4 or 5 before it's actually going to be really valuable to you, but I do like Maw of the Deep. I actually even like it for open world related stuff as well. I think it's a good gem and I think that it has a lot of value. I'm going to go ahead and give Maw of the Deep an A tier as well, although again, I know people will argue it's a B. We're going to go ahead and give it an A tier. Roiling Consequence. Dealing damage sends you in a roiling rage for 6 seconds, during which your critical hit chance is increased by 12%, and critical hits cause a fiery explosion that burns nearby enemies for 30% base damage over 3 seconds. Explosions can occur more often than once every 1 second, and the roiling rage can happen once every 20. Burning, fiery explosions, crit chance, critical hit chance is increased by 12% at base. This, my friends, is an S tier gem right there beside our Blood-Soaked Jade. If you unlock a Roiling Consequence, it's one that you are going to want to invest in and use. We have the Hilt of Many Realms. Dealing damage conjures 5 flying swords to follow you for 10 seconds, during which using a skill consumes a flying sword to create a sword rain at a random enemy location, dealing 50% base damage and 506. This can happen more than once every 20 seconds. Decent gem right here. One of the newer ones inside of the game. One that I do see being used at some points in time. It's not one that I particularly use. And I want to go ahead and give it an A tier. Although the use that I have for it and how often I use it inside of the game, I would go and give it a B tier. We could get into arguments in the comment section about that one and how that one lies. I'm going to actually go ahead and give it an A because I know that it's used a lot more than some that I've put here up on the A tier. Let's go take a look at Storm Vault. Dealing damage conjures a storm at the enemy's location that pursues enemies for 6 seconds, continually dealing 22% damage, plus 203 every 0.5 seconds. All right, Storm Vault, another decent one. I can't go ahead. I can't go and give every single one of them an A tier. I'm going to give Stormbolt a B tier right there, and I'm gonna settle with that, and I'm gonna be okay with that. Now I just jumped out of my market. Let's get ourselves back to where we were. We are getting very close towards the end. The Wolf Heart gem. Dealing damage grants you Savage Heart for 6 seconds, causing your attacks to mark enemies. At 5 stacks, the marks are consumed and slash the heart of the enemy, dealing 40% base damage. Marks can be applied and stacked again on the same enemy 0.3 seconds after they are consumed. Another one that's a decent gem, but not my favorite. I'm going to go ahead and give this one as well a B tier. Now, please keep in mind, the grades, the scores that I'm giving these are my personal opinion, and not all people will agree. Some people will disagree. That's okay. You could let me know your scores down below if you want people to know your feelings on them as well. Let's go take a look at the Golden Firmament. Dealing damage grants you Ascendance for 6 seconds, causing you to unleash 3 blasts of wind at random nearby enemies every second, dealing 45% base damage plus 486 to enemies they hit. Enemies struck by multiple blasts take 75% reduced damage from subsequent hits. Alright? Golden Firmament, not my favorite gem, one that I haven't spent a lot of time using. Gonna go ahead and give that one, I'm gonna go ahead and give that one a C tier. I don't like that one. Then we have the Colossus Engine. Granting yourself a buff also grants you Colossal Strength for 6 seconds, increasing your skill damage by 15%, while also increasing your size and skill range. I like the size increase. Every 20 seconds, this is one of the newer and the stronger gems in the game. Another S tier gem, along with Roiling Consequence and Blood-Soaked Jade. If you get the Colossus, you're going to want to prioritize that gem and upgrade it. And then we have the newest gem inside of the game, which currently, as of right now of recording, there's an event to even have better odds of dropping this gem. It's the Blood Flow. Your critical hits cause you to enter a Blood Rage for 6 seconds, increasing your damage done by 9% and your critical hit damage by 18%. While Blood Rage is active, your critical hits also rend flesh, causing enemies to bleed for an additional 10% base damage every second for 3 seconds. This Blood Rage can't trigger more often than every 20 seconds, and Rend Flesh can't trigger on the same enemy more often than once every 1 second. This is another incredible gem. Everyone will say it is an S tier gem, another one that you should prioritize if you are looking to have some of the strongest. Now keep in mind, the 4 that you see up top for S tier are also very often used in PvP, but when you're looking to drop large amounts of damage on Heliquary bosses or things of that nature, they are also very strong there as well. I would love for you guys to let me know your thoughts on my suggestions for scores right here of all these gems. Remember, I do go live every day around 11 a.m. or 12 p.m., basically midday, and I would love it if you guys subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on everything relating to Diablo Immortal. I appreciate you guys, and have a great day. Recently, I've spent some time investing inside of my gems inside of Diablo Immortal and getting free power from these gems. Just last week, I met with Radagon, also known as Ador by many of you, and he walked me through how to min-max my experience and get the most out of all of my gems, even ones that were dormant. Today I have him on the channel, and we're going to be talking about the process that we used so that I was able to get myself to 4K resonance and pull in these nice white 4K wings. Radagon, thanks for coming through the channel, man. I am excited to talk about this with you here today for everyone to see, because I had so much interest from the community about how to get this free gem resonance. So let's take everyone through the process and really explain it well for them here today.
Hey Echo, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be on the channel. And yeah, it's actually quite a tricky yet simple thing, because the game doesn't really tell you how it works. But basically, you use the gem power from your main gems and level other gems and then put them inside gems to keep them awake.
Yes, exactly. Now, there's probably a lot of people watching this that don't even understand what gem resonance is. Basically, when you get a gem to rank 4, you're able to unlock gem, the whole resonance system. And inside of your primary gem, in the case that I'm showing right here, my Seeping Bile, you then can place other gems in there to increase the resonance and eventually, or possibly, even get these socketed bonuses as well. As you rank up your primary gem, in this case it's a 5-star gem, the higher rank your 5-star gem is, the more slots unlock. And to my understanding, Radagon, rank 7 unlocks a 5-star gem slot as well as rank 8. Am I correct?
Yes, so rank 4 unlocks the first 2-star, rank 5 does the same, and rank 6. Then rank 7 and 8 unlocks the 2 5-star slots in a 5-star gem.
Right. So when we're talking about resonance and how it looks and actually what it costs to upgrade gems, you need to keep in mind if you're using a 5-star gem, inside you could put 3 2-star gems and an additional 2 5-star gems that can then be leveled up to rank 10. So there's a lot more than just the gem that you see in your piece of gear. There's a lot more resonance behind it. But let's talk about what we did on my personal account. I was sitting around 3,300 resonance. I had a dormant Seeping Bile, a dormant Void Spark, and a dormant Gloom. And we turned that into a 4K res account without me utilizing really any other gems, just utilizing the gems that I currently had, putting them into those dormant gems. So let's go through that process right now and help people understand how it's done.
Yeah. So let's unequip your Gloom Cask, and we'll use that as an example.
Okay. Let's
So
remove
as
this
soon as you
gem.
unequip the gem, it's gonna go dormant.
Okay. I
So
lost
now
all the
you have a
power.
dormant rank 5 Gloom Cask.
Yes.
It should be at the bottom, yeah.
Okay, yeah, there it is,
Right?
right there. Dormant, nothing in it, no power, no nothing. And also the gems that were inside of it, the Battle Guard and my rank 10 Behelit, are now in my bag as well.
Mm-hmm. So we'll go over 2 things. First, how to awaken if you already have leveled up gems. And second, how to awaken if you have leveled up gems, but don't have enough gem power, even though you have a leveled up gem. So let's just first go to the jeweler and go to gem power transfusion so we can see how much gem power it'll cost you to actually awaken that gem.
Okay, let me make this so everyone can see. So we're going to go over to Gem Power Transfusion. And am I going to come over here to my Gloom gem? It says right here, it's dormant due to insufficient power. It's going to 464. Is that the number we're looking at right here?
464 is the gem resonance it would provide. It was awakened. Like if you click on power and fusion, it'll tell you how much gem power you need to put it in.
Okay, and that number
So
is 535.
yeah. So if you put 535 gem power in here, you will get the gem awakened. Now, a lot of my friends, I've seen them do mistakes that they just go and dormant all their 2 stars gem, which is like not really ideal because at this point, how the game's working, you can put a 2-star inside and it'll fund the gem power to the gem.
Correct.
So let's just go in your inventory and equip the Gloom Cask and put your rank 10 Crimson Bay Hill there.
Okay, so I'm going to go in my inventory. I want to... Wait, actually, I'm going to have to go to Manage. Boom. Select a gem. We're going to go find the Gloom. It's right here. It's in that slot, but it's still dormant even though it's been socketed.
Mm-hmm. Now we need to go into the gem resonance, so that will be through your bag.
Okay.
And put the rank 10 Crimson Bay Hill there.
So you notice my resonance went down to 3,529 from the 4,019 it was. Okay, so here we're going to go into gem resonance, and these slots do require a certain gem if you want those additional bonuses on the side, but it's not required. You don't have to do that. So right here, I could take any gem. It's saying to get the bonus, I could use a follower's burden. You could organize that later if you happen to have those gems. But for now, we're going to put in the Behelit, which is going to provide 849 gem power. And that's going to wake this bad boy up right now because we only needed the 500 and change.
Mm-hmm. So now if you guys notice here, Echo before said that the Gloom Cask was providing 464 gem power, which you can see. Plus, you get the 20 gem power from the 20 gem resonance from the Crimson Behill. So you got 484 gem resonance, which you didn't lose a single point. Now, some of the higher spenders will argue that, hey, putting the correct gems there will give you a bonus resonance. It is true, but it's very minimal. And I personally think it's only preferable for someone who's 12k and higher on resonance. And
Wow.
for
Okay.
the socketed bonuses you have with primary attack damage, skill damage, and all these, like they're good to have if you have the correct gems leveled, then you can put it in there. But you rather have the main gem awaken and use the stronger skill than actually not have it awaken and go for lesser.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. At the end of the day, you want the stronger gem to be awakened and working, and you're willing to sacrifice the attributes. But now, on the other hand, if I do have, let's say for this one, if I did have a power and command of the right level, I could put it in here, and I could sneak out a little bit of some of these bonuses as well if I wanted to. In this case, I'm gonna put. I do have some power and command, but they're rank ones. I'm gonna put in the rank 3 battle guard just because it's the highest one that I have. Is going to give me a little bit more resonance as well, bumping us up to 490.
Yep. So now let's move to the second condition we talk about is you had a leveled up 2-star gem, but still you're short on gem power and you don't have more slots awakened. Like your gem is rank 5 like Echo, and you have 2 2-stars in there, but your gem is still dormant because it's not getting enough power.
Right.
So let's remove the Crimson Behilt there and just as an example, put any gem, like even if it's rank 1.
Okay. Yep. So,
So this gem is dormant, and the Battle Guard and the Followers Burden may be providing it like 8 or 10 gem power. But this is just an example, probably going to be higher for most people.
mhm.
But now, if you go to the gem power infusion on the merchant, you can see it's the reduced amount. Like it's not going to ask you for the same 545 anymore because it doesn't need 545. It needs the remaining amount.
Yes, 507 now.
Yeah. So this is also a way that if you have some 2-stars leveled, but the main gem is not awakening, you can actually put the remaining gem power in back.
Can you say that again?
So this is another way that if you have some gems leveled, but they're
Yes.
not enough to make your primary gem awaken yet or come out of dormant, then you can put the remaining gem power it needs back into the gem without actually having to level inside gem or put the entire gem power.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Although to me, it sounds more valuable to level up the gems that are inside because at least you're leveling up those rather than just dropping the gem power into this. That would seem to me like the smarter way of going about it.
Mhm.
All right. So let's.
And then there will be a case 3 here,
Okay.
which let's say, Echo, can you put the Crimson Behill back in?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is where a lot of people will get confused or get tricked on. Is now, hey, now we have 849 plus whatever the other gem is giving. But now if you go to upgrade your Gloomcast, you're going to see, hey, wait, I have like 300 extra gem power out of nowhere.
Yes. This was the topic that I wanted to bring up to you. Yeah, I have 338 gem power right now. That's really it's wasted sitting in there. If I was done with my Gloom Cask and I was going to keep it at rank 5 and never take it to rank 6, which is not the case, but if for you that is, then I would be sitting or you would be sitting with 338 gem power that's tied up inside of this gem. And really at this point in time it's not being used for anything.
Mhm. So there's a couple ways you can tackle it.
Mhm.
One is how previously we showed that you can put the extra gem power in. So you can min max like put like maybe a rank 6 in there and put 200 gem power so it's exactly the same. Or you can use this gem power to upgrade because you have 338 gem power
Mhm.
provided by the Crimson Behilt and the Battle Guard. So you can upgrade your Gloomcast without actually putting manual gem power because as long as those gems are inside, they will provide the gem power.
Correct. Yep.
Second scenario with this is your gem is awakened. Your Gloomcast is not dormant and you have gems inside. Then this number would show about 850, 860 gem power. Now, this is an important thing which is going to throw people off
Okay.
is if you do an upgrade on a gem which is already not dormant, but it is being provided with gem power from inside gems, and you do the upgrade. If you unequip that gem, it will go dormant. And the reason being, when you did the upgrade, you took the gem power from the inside gems, not you didn't put manual gem power. So now that gem which you unequipped is lacking the gem power.
That makes a lot of sense. So if I'm using, let's just, okay, trying to break that down in a different way. If I have my, let's give an example here. If I'm using my Roiling Consequence and I go to upgrade here, if I use this gem power from the internal gems and then I unsocket my Roiling Consequence, this would then go dormant because a portion of the upgrade was done with resonance gems, the gems that were put within it, correct?
Yep, yep.
Makes a lot of sense. Okay, now for someone that is sitting here and they're saying, okay, I'm never going to upgrade my Gloom Cask. I want to do something with this extra gem power because I could use this on another gem. Is it as simple as playing around with the gems that you have socketed and try and put the right ones in the right spot to have the least wasted amount of gem power?
Yes, obviously. At that time, because if you need gem power for other gems, or as we saw before, that you can put the remaining gem power, you can min max that, hey, I don't need to reach the 545 or 525 gem power mark. I can be a little short and put the remaining in there. That way I'm not wasting nearly as much. Maybe I'll be wasting 100, but not 300.
Yes, that makes sense. But at the same time, you are gaining extra power when you're leveling up these gems within as well. So it's natural for you to put more gem power inside of these internal gems so you can gain that additional resonance as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And
yep.
um, this will help a lot of players as well, because this actually makes leveling 2-star gems quite viable, because it
Yeah.
doesn't really hurt you. In long term, me or Echo or anyone, even if they're lower res, slowly everyone will grow in resonance and they will start pushing possibly rank 6, rank 7, minimum rank 6 for most players in the game. And at that point, resonance get quite expensive. So people who are struggling with damage or just love to experiment around, they can start leveling 2-star gems. And if you don't like it, put it inside a gem and take out the gem power. So now you didn't really waste any gem power because you spent about 600 something gem power to level a 2-star gem. And you took the same amount back out and you put the 2-star in. So in case you didn't like a 2-star gem, no need to dormant it or destroy it anymore, because not only it'll give you the extra 20 resonance, you don't really lose any point of gem power if you can just take it out.
Yeah, like so for example, right now, I was utilizing a rank 10 Pain Clasp, which is now just awakening my Void Spark. I was utilizing a rank 10 Behelit, which is now awakening my Gloom, and I was utilizing a rank 10 Fervent Fang, and that's now awakening my Seeping Bile. And if I ever change my mind, or if I have different builds where I want to, say, use the Fervent Fang in place of this, I can just pull it out and utilize it, and it's not wasted. I don't have to try and make other gems, not dormant. Like I have a couple that I made dormant in the past, like my Viper's Bite, like my Lightning. I should probably just put the power back into those and use them as resonance gems rather than having them taking up a slot in my bag for absolutely no reason.
Yep, because dormant gems, you actually lose uh, a lot of value or resources.
Mm-hmm.
Because even though you took out the gem power, so if you notice, a rank 10 gem inside resonance is giving you 849.
Correct.
While it only takes somewhere about 600, I don't remember the exact value, about 600 something gem power to make a rank 10 gem. So when you dormant it, you get the 600 back, but you're not getting the extra gem power from the copies you put into that. So the 41 copies plus the base, so 42 gem power, 42 copies worth of gem power is still in the dormant gem.
Yeah, which is about 160, 170, if not a little more, gem power that's sitting in this dormant copy right here.
Yeah.
So it would actually be smart for me, let's say for this Viper's Bite specifically, because it's my highest rank that's dormant, to infuse the power back into it and then utilize it over here as one of my my resonance gems. It would just be a smart
Mm-hmm.
play.
Yep.
And
And it's never a bad thing because right now you're using the Crimson Behil and it's not giving you any gem power or it's not giving you any extra resonance bonuses. but we have ever increasing amount of gems coming to the game, so you
Yeah.
never know which gem can actually be slotted in, and in future one of those gems could give you not only the gem power but also the resonance bonus.
So really, someone like myself, that like if I go look at my gem resonance here in my blood soaked jade, it's sitting at, this is a rank 6 blood soaked jade. Still only has 3 slots unlocked. It's probably gonna take a while for me to get it to a rank 7 if I decide to. I should just start working on the interior gems and really building up a good collection of 2-star gems inside of all of my 5-star gems, so those could be shuffled around as need be, and I can gain the extra resonance in that way as I get my other gems ranked up.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Like,
another quick
uh,
question,
yeah.
and before you say what you were going to say, a lot of players are using 2-star gems. Um,
Mm-hmm.
the same process works for these 2-star gems as well, correct?
No, so this process only, the awakening process, which putting inside the gems to awaken the primary gem, only works with 5 stars. I was just about to say that be careful, it only works with 5 stars, not 2 stars and 1 stars.
Okay, I knew it didn't work for 1 stars. I didn't know that it didn't work for 2 stars. So 2 stars, you
Yep.
have to level them up. So it actually makes it
Yep.
even. It's not a bad idea for some of the S tier 2-star gems, like a Pain Clasp or like a Fervent Fang, to keep them at their rank 10 and to keep them inside of your resonance slots to gain the resonance, but also to have them for a rainy day if you ever decide you want to use the gem.
Yeah.
Okay, makes a lot of sense. Any last things that you want to touch on that we maybe forgot during our conversation here before we go?
It's not last, but this is a very interesting thing is
Okay.
I have friends who are 10k res and don't have rank 10 primary gems, but they have like rank 9 main gems and this levels up inside gems. So you can actually hit 10k without maxing out your main gems.
So you can, but okay, but still, you still have to get them to rank 9, which is a feat in itself, correct?
Yeah, but like this is like there was a time where going over 8k without maxed out gems was pretty much impossible. So there's a chance where like someone who's mid reso can just after rank 7 or 8, you can actually leave it and do the inside gems for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Because the amount of resources needed to go on a 5-star gem from rank 1 to rank 8 is the exact same you will need to go from rank 8 to rank 10. So that means that you get 80% of the power of a 5-star gem in rank 8, even though that's only half the resources you need to max it out. So that's where you could be like, hey, I just get the gem to rank 8. This is for the Veiled friends. You
Uh-huh.
get the gem to rank 8, and then just start putting inside gems. You have all the gem slots unlocked. Get them to rank 5, rank 6 on the 5 stars, get their 2 stars to rank 10. Pretty much will hit over 9k.
Got it. So you're saying get it to rank 8 so that you can unlock rank 7 and rank 8 slots. Then you could put the gems within there as well and start ranking those up, which at the same time, this is not easy to do. This is something that you're talking about whales. First of all, getting a 5-star gem to rank 8 is not a simple thing. And then you would be slotting in another 5-star at the rank 7 slot and another 5-star at the rank 8 slot, which you would then start to rank that up. And we know that getting it to rank 4 is pretty easy. Or at least fairly easy. But then it would slow down there as well because of those internals. But that makes a lot of sense, and that's a nice tip for people. That's going to be for, as you mentioned, for your bigger spenders inside of the game
Bigger standard.
that don't want to go to rank 10 primary gems, but still want to get up there in the resonance. It's a nice little resonance hack.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I appreciate it, man.
Because the maxed out players, pretty much like all the friends, like I have friends which are like even maxed out 13k res. They don't buy gem power because they have so many gems level. They just take out the gem power and they have multiple ranked up gems. You just keep putting inside. So unlimited gem power at that point.
Is there a world where I would, let's say my Blood Soaked Jade, which was mostly leveled from me utilizing gem power, is there a world where I would make this dormant, upgrade gems within, and then power infuse back into that? Is there a way for me to do that? It seems like I can manipulate the system so I can get more gem power to work with.
So in the future, if they do add more gem slots, that you can definitely do that because then you will need more gems. So right now, let's say you're gathering resources because you don't need to spend anything on gem power. you already have the gem power provided to you by the 2-star gems.
Mm-hmm.
And then once in the future, if they add more gem slots, you can reawaken your Bloodsoaked Jade with putting proper or just enough gem power and then take out one of these gems and put it in the new slot. So not only you got your previous resonance still there, you gain an extra gem which you didn't really level because you leveled it months ago.
Yeah. So there, yeah, okay. There is a way to play with that so you can get yourself a little bit more gem power to deal with. All right, man. This was good. I think that this is going to be helpful to a lot of people that were trying to figure out a way to manipulate the system. It's really not even manipulating the system. It's just utilizing it to a greater extent. But it's a great way for players that don't have tons of legendary crests and that are struggling to get themselves legendary gems to use as gem power, a way for them to get the extra gem power to start getting some of their 5-star gems upgraded. I appreciate you coming through, man. You've been coming through all the streams and giving me guidance along the way as well as other players in the stream. It's always a pleasure, and I know that a lot of people are going to get some value out of this one.
Yeah, all right. Thanks for having me, Echo. It was a pleasure to be here. And I hope this guide does help a lot of players because it's complicated at first, but it's very simple once you know how to do it.
Yeah, I agree. It's a bit of a bear in the beginning, but then it does start to sink in, and you can figure it out. Thanks for coming through, man. I always appreciate it, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Subscribe if you found this valuable, and make sure you check out my live streams. We've been going live every day. Welcome back to Diablo Immortal. I hope you're all doing well and having a great morning. Today I have 3 topics to discuss with you. The first one we're going to jump right into, which is free rewards coming to the game with the incoming Hearthstone crossover update. Now, this image right here came from the Chinese patch notes, which was translated and said that these were free items if you scan the QR code, which led me to believe that this was going to be free items for new players coming. But I also do get the feeling that we're going to be seeing these free items as well, which include a legendary crest, a free portal, the free new 2-star gem, which is only going to be attainable through the event, and then of course through Telluric Pearls afterward, if we've seen in previous, a frame, and as you can see on the far right, there is another card. I believe this is one of those different ability style cards that are going to let you modify your skills the same way that legendary gems do, at least during the event that's going on. So you'll be starting with 1 card. Again, this is not set in stone, but I do believe that these items are going to be free upon us logging in when the new event does drop next week. Now, we have a couple of other topics because lately, guys, a lot of people have been coming to my live streams. If you remember, I've been live streaming nearly every day on the channel, going through Diablo Immortal, playing with the community and tackling the topics of discussion as we go, all at the same time building out my wizard because my wizard has not had any essences since we started playing the game 3 years ago. It's been that long since I played wizard, so we're slowly building out wizard and enjoying the process. It's actually been great. So with that, I've realized that there are a lot of brand new players. Like, we all think that everyone that's playing Diablo Immortal has been playing forever and is in it for 3 years and is an OG, but it's actually not true. So many questions come through from newer players that even started as early as a week ago, or even are asking in the stream, should they play and is it worth it as a free-to-play player? Which brings me to the next 2 topics that kind of are going to help address some questions that may be had by these players. First of all, as you see right here, someone over on Reddit is talking about how there is an increase of blood flow gems inside of Diablo Immortal right now, and that they're speculating that these gems are being duped or duplicated by some type of bots, as we've seen happen with normal gems in the past, because there are so many 5-stars on the market for sale. When in actuality, what's going on here is, you guys all know, if we dive back into the game really quickly, that there is a, where can I get this? There is an event going on inside of the game right now, and there's still a few more days left, where the new gem, the Blood Flow gem, is available for players to get, and you get the extended chances of those drops when you run Elder Rifts. So what's simply happening here, guys, is there are more of these gems around because more people are getting them to drop inside of their Elder Rift runs, and that's why we're seeing so many more Bloodflow gems. Now, if you guys did see my tier list, I put it out just 2 days ago, and some people agree with it, some people think that things are off. It all depends on how you play and what gems you value in the game. Either way, Bloodflow gem, in my opinion, is an S tier gem. It's one of the best ones. So if you're looking to get into a Bloodflow gem and you do have extra platinum lying around, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to dive into it now and to get yourself some of these gems because, well, the low price, 250,000 platinum, is extremely low for an S tier 5-star gem. Now, the third topic that I wanted to tackle here today was regarding Telluric Pearls. Telluric Pearls are great. I love getting them inside the game. I actually have 0 in my bag. Do I have 0? I have 0 in my bag right now because I just used my Telluric Pearls. For those of you that don't know, when you collect 40 of these Telluric Pearls, you can then craft, under the Telluric Craft option, a 5-star legendary gem. And a lot of new players, like the one that we are seeing in this post that I'll go back to in a moment, are curious about what gems should you craft with the Telluric Pearls. Now, you do have quite a few options, right? You can get most of the 5-star gems, and you could even craft some of the older event 2-star gems, which I would never recommend you do. I think that Telluric Pearls, when you get to 40, when you finally collect 40 of them, you should definitely be crafting a 5-star gem. And if you look at the player right here, the Bear Jude, who's asking this question, they are wearing absolutely no 5-star gems whatsoever. So if this is someone like yourself and you're in this position and you're wondering what 5-star gems should you craft, well, I definitely have some recommendations for you. Also, though, keep in mind, you probably have some legendary crests lying around that you've gotten from events or different things that have come up throughout the game. When you get 10 of these, I like to, especially as a free-to-play player, I think it's important that you keep 10 of them in your back pocket. Because when there is a Mirrored Jewels event, you have double drops, 2 times the chance of dropping, or not 2 times the chance, you'll get double the amount of legendary gems when they drop. But if you're sitting on legendary crests, run them and see if you get lucky, especially when there's an event going on right now where you can better your odds of dropping an S tier gem like a Bloodflow. Very valuable to you. But if we take a look even over here at the events tab, there's a lot of opportunities to get Telluric Pearls right here and legendary crests, even as free-to-play players. This is not the topic of the video, but the point is, these are available to all players. Now, if I have to make a choice, say on the Battle Pass, between 2 Telluric Pearls or 1 legendary crest, I will often, or almost always now, choose Telluric Pearls. Why? Because it gives me control over what gem I actually create, versus going with a gambling type mechanic, getting a legendary crest, and hoping that I get something that I'm actually looking for. So save up your stuff. They're coming through all these events. You see, you got another event, Clash of Cards, which means actually tomorrow we'll get another Telluric Pearl, and then on the 30th, when the update does drop, we'll get another legendary crest. So now going back over here, basically to sum up my tier list and tell you which of the gems you should use. And this doesn't matter about the class. The person over here, they were asking, they're playing as, I think it was they were playing as a Necromancer. They're going to transition to a Druid. Something I never like to do as someone that changes classes is to get a gem and invest in a gem that is specific to a certain class. So let's say a gem that's going to do something for summons. Yeah, it's going to be great for Necro. It'll probably even do all right for the Druid, but it's not going to excel or even really be usable for many other classes. So I try to stay away from those. With that being said, let's look at the Telluric Craft right over here. This is at the Apprentice Jeweler, and these are the options. In my opinion, the #1 gem that I think players should craft, if this is going to be your first 5-star gem, is going to be the Blood-Soaked Jade. Blood-Soaked Jade is one of the, or is, in my opinion, the best gem inside of the game. It's going to increase the damage you deal. It increases your movement speed. It's a gem that everyone uses, and for good reason. But for some reason, if you don't like the Blood-Soaked Jade, there are a couple of others that I could recommend. Bottled Hope is great, but I still would definitely put Blood-Soaked Jade above it. I really do like the Roiling Consequence, especially if you're someone that's into PvP. It's going to put you into a Roiling Rage, during which your crit chance is increased. All right. It's also going to burn enemies as well. Really strong gem, the Roiling Consequence. And the Colossus Engine, one of the newer gems in the game. It's going to grant strength for 6 seconds, increasing your skill damage by 15%. And then, of course, the Blood Flow gem. But right now, with 5 days left in the drop event, where you can better your odds of drops in Elder Rifts, you should probably try to pull a Blood Flow gem from utilizing Legendary Crest. Let me show you real quick. All right, so we're at the Elder Rift right now, and as you can see, there's just about 5 days left in the new Legendary Gem drop. So you have the opportunity here to have 50% chance of, if a 5-star gem drops, it's going to be a Blood Flow gem. Which means you have a 50% chance of whatever 5-star gem you get being an S-tier gem, because this Blood Flow gem is one of those. So if you have a couple of Legendary Crests lying around, I have 10 in total is all I have right now. But if you have a couple lying around and you're really looking to figure out what your first gem is going to be, and you have those Telluric Pearls, it wouldn't be a bad idea for you to have a look, run a couple of those crests that you've gotten for free through the game's RNG to see if you get a Blood Flow before you make the decision on what you're going to do the Telluric Pearl on. At the end of the day, though, the strongest gem, and the one that I use, and it's actually my highest level gem as well, is the Blood-Soaked Jade. And also keep in mind, you don't need a 5 out of 5 star. That's whale status right there. Many players will get a 3 out of 5 star or upgrade. As you can see with my Roiling Consequence, I had upgraded from 2 stars up to 4 stars, and I did that through the event that's going on inside of the game, the Sanguine Surge, which allows you to upgrade gems from 2 to 3, 3 to 4, or even 4 to 5 from running these. Now, this is a little bit more of a spender event. You get it from running Legendary Crests, so you need to save a bunch of them. But that has been covered in another video. At the end of the day, what you should probably do is get yourself a Blood-Soaked Jade when you get those 40 Telluric Pearls if you haven't unlocked it yet. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I will be going live today, diving into the game as the Wizard, enjoying the community, running dungeons with you guys, doing my Hellslayer bounties, and maybe even diving into a little bit of PvP. We'll have to see. I'll be going live around 12 p.m. noon Eastern time today, and I hope to see you there. Welcome back to Diablo Immortal. We're finally at the point where we can craft our first piece of ancient legendary equipment. For those of you that don't know what this is, I'm going to explain it within this video and tell you why this gear is the next level of gear and probably beyond as we go throughout the game. So, as you can see right here, there are required materials, ancient artifacts that you're going to be able to attain so that you can craft one of these pieces of gear. As you can see, it requires 100 pieces of these ancient artifacts, and they're not the easiest things to come by. If you click on Get More, you'll notice that you can get them from Reliquary raids, you can get them from your codex, your daily reward chests, which you could only get one of those chests per day, and your daily dungeon rewards. So it definitely limits and kind of time gates how quickly you can craft this type of gear. Also keep in mind that once you get to the next Inferno difficulty, this gear could become subpar, and you're going to want to recraft the next pieces for that next Inferno difficulty, as you do with your typical gear that we normally use inside of the game. Now, if you come over here and you go, let's say you go to your bag and you're like, okay, yes, I have all of the pieces that we need right here. I have 100 of them. I'm ready to go. But then you come over here to the blacksmith, you go to item crafting, and you go to ancient legendary, and it says 0 of 100. Why can't I craft this? Well, super easy, guys. There's a drop down right here. You just have to switch it to the proper Inferno difficulty, and then you have the items. Notice up top there are artifacts for level 7, Inferno 8, and for Inferno 9. Now, I also suspect that as time goes on, part of the grind inside of the game is going to be more than just helmets. Let's take a look at my bag and my stuff right here. The Ancient Helmet, this is the only slot that we can get one of these pieces of equipment in right now. Now, it figures for me, this is my best piece of gear that I'm wearing, right? With the highest combat rating at least. So I'm removing my best to put in even better, which I guess is a good thing. But over time, we could see a chest piece that's an ancient. We could see shoulders, legs, secondaries, and primaries as well, which would make it quite a grind to get the materials needed to actually craft all of these every time we go to a new Inferno or Hell difficulty. Actually, it's Inferno difficulty. But when you think about it, gear maxes out at level 30. That may not change. That could be just how it is. In the past, I thought maybe it'll go up to 40, 45, 50, but I actually like the idea of it remaining at this level and then us taking the next level of gear through getting these ancient artifacts. So let's go ahead and do this now. I want to take a look at the actual ones that are available to us and tell you which one I'm going to choose. Now, I did get a sneak peek at these when I was over at Blizzard HQ, testing out the Druid a month and a half ago, maybe it was already. And what I found while there was the Horn Splitters was my favorite. Now notice, the combat rating, all the attributes on all of these are going to be the same. Everything is the same on all of them. You're getting 4 different attributes, and you're getting a much higher combat rating than we're seeing from any piece of gear that you're probably wearing already. But it's really about the magic attributes, and notice they're all going to have many magic attributes. I like Horn Splitter's Spirit because it has beneficial effect duration increased. That's something you're always looking for, and if you don't know what that is, that's what allows you to have your skills used more often. Critical hit chance increased. Yes, that's one of the best substats you're looking for in your gear, and critical hit damage is also increased right there. You'll have to essence transfer required and cursed property required. That's with all of them. Now, damage while moving is the special one here, and honestly, I don't find damage while moving that special. Maybe a little bit if you're using a class that's just running around utilizing skills, but this, in my opinion, is my favorite. This is the one that I'm going to be crafting for you guys very shortly, but I do want to take a look at the other ones as well. This one right here, the Unveiled Secret, damage is increased by 6% when attacking enemies from behind. I never did like that. There's this legendary gem that buffs that as well, and I never did like it. Accuracy increased, damage to enemies while below 30% life, damage to players. The only reason why I could see certain players wanting this one is because of the damage to players with the Unveiled Secrets, but at the same time, I would prefer to have the crit chance from the Horn Splitter's Spirit. First Strike is an interesting one. Here, your primary attacks have a 5% chance or a 25% chance during ultimate to trigger Shivering Breath when hitting an enemy. I actually was looking at this morning, and I reached out to some friends and like, how good is this? Like, is this better than Horn Splitters? And the consensus was that it was not, but it still is a really good one. It unleashes the power of Vatath, the Shivering Death, conjuring 2 clones of Vatath to relieve waves of cold, dealing 70,000 damage and chilling enemies for 3 seconds. So a really cool effect that does quite a bit of damage would come out of this. The problem is it's only a 5% chance that it happens. Either way, I thought this one was cool. I wouldn't hate it if I had this one on there. Plus, it chills enemies as well. Primary attacks have an 8% chance to explode on hit. Attack speed is increased. Primary attack damage is increased. For primary attackers, this one here is pretty strong, actually, if you're going to be heavy on the primary attack. I like First Strike. Then we have Eager Trigger's Sight. Picking up a health globe is a 24% chance of reset skills on cooldown. Cool, but not something that I would rely on. Attack speed, skill cooldowns, skill damage, all increased by 3%. This one's not bad if you're heavy on skills and you're all a skill build, and maybe you're looking for a piece that you could use while doing some open world farming so you can continuously reset those skills. But this would not be one of my favorites. And then we have Grave Runner. Evasion rating is increased by 8%. Right now, this is gonna change based off of the class that you are, I believe. Invasion rating is increased by 0.8 every nearby enemy up to a maximum of 8%. Evading any attacks grants you a shield. I like that. Damage taken from players reduced. and loss of control durability reduced, duration reduced by 6%. Not bad either. Again, this one is not my favorite. My two favorites are Horn Splitters and First Strike. Horn Splitter, though, is the one that I'm going to craft. Again, notice it says that I have no materials. It's because I have it set on Inferno 8. I'm going to switch it to Inferno 7. I'm going to craft this piece of gear. Boom! There it is, baby. The first one that we've crafted. And now, having crafted this, it really is going to give me a good bump. It actually, wait a second. Why is it saying the combat? I thought let's take a look at something real quick. Oh, that's because of the difficulty we were at. It's 2,659 when you're at Inferno 7. When you go to Inferno 8, the combat rating goes higher, and Inferno 9, that's even locked right now. So now I have this helm sitting right here. It is higher combat rating. The attributes are better. It's a good piece. Although the critical hit chance is actually going to be decreased a little bit from the one that I'm wearing, which is actually crazy. But overall, it is a better piece. It doesn't have, I'm gonna have to inherit the essence. So we're gonna equip, transfer the essence into it right here. Boom, we got a bunch of arrows up. That's usually a good sign. And now the only thing that does need to be done here is I need to get the proper cursed properties on it, because right now it has nothing. Let's see what I actually have for my cursed properties right now. We need one more piece of wired. So let's go to our services. Let's go purify, and we need to get wired on this thing. Right now it's sitting with the tested. We're gonna just keep on slamming through this until we actually get wired, which, as you guys know, could take a while. Finally, that actually did take a while. So we got the new attribute. Our cursed properties are looking good. The new piece of gear is intact. As you can see, cursed properties are 4-piece wired, 4-piece nettled. We have the piece of gear, our first ancient legendary, slotted in with some additional combat rating, beneficial effects, all these other nice things here. It is an improvement, but keep in mind, when we get to the next difficulty level, the next Inferno difficulty level, which as it sits right now, I'm at 962, which is 12 levels above Server Paragon, and at the point of recording this, it's Saturday, so I'll probably get up one more level before the next week starts. We only have about 5 weeks before we could start utilizing the other ones, and I'm going to be looking to recraft and create more of them. So it's going to be more about farming the materials needed for that, but that's about the game, man. It's about the grind, and it's about always trying to get yourself new and better gear on your toon so that you could just improve. I mean, that's ARPGs for you. You gotta love it. Let me know what ancient legendary pieces of gear you chose when you had your choice, and let me know if you even got to that point yet. I know many of you may not even have been there. Guys, have a great day. Remember, I'll be live streaming every single day next week, and I would love for you guys to come through. We're typically starting around 11 a.m. or 12 p.m. Eastern time. Love to see you guys there. Have a great day and be good.